Ready?
Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 3rd of September, 2022, depending on where you are in the world.
Hi, everyone, and welcome.
This
This
is
is Karen
so
Newman.
that's great. We know that's working. And we have our dear friend, Wendy Napolitano.
Napolitano.
Napolitano. I had it. I even practiced it.
It was so close.
I was trying to go for it fast. Napolitano is here, Wendy Napolitano. I'll say that 15 times fast, so we'll get it. And she's going to be channeling. Who are you channeling today?
Well, we have two beings that wanted to come through today, the dragonflies and also Jesus. So,
oh, perfect.
Yeah, so we'll see what they want to say and what messages and or what energy that they want to share. So
is it Jesus as an entity or Jesus collective? How is that?
I don't know. Normally when he comes to me, it's not a collective, it's just Jesus. So I, in one of my former lives in an alternate timeline than the one that we are taught, I was his brother. So
okay.
Yeah, I was James.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so anyway, since I was a young girl, he's come to me. I just didn't understand that I was channeling at the time. I was doing a lot of, channeled writing, automatic writing. And then I would sign it, love Jesus. And I'm like, what am I writing? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not Jesus.
So I was thinking the other day that the way that channeling manifested now versus how it manifested, say, even, centuries ago.
Yeah.
I think we should change the word channeling to connecting, because now we're just connecting in, the energy is flowing through. Sometimes it's coming out of our fingers in the form of writing. Sometimes it's coming out of our mouth in the form of words, or music or whatever, but it's all about the connecting. And the line has become so entwined with the other, that sometimes you can be channeling as you're talking, but you're still talking and you haven't moved fully into that consciousness, but that consciousness is woven with your own.
Right. The stream is going. And so as I've progressed, I've come to understand that I'm always channeling. I'm an ascended master of channeling, only it needed to be known and recognized in this lifetime so that I can accept it. I had those gifts
recognized by you.
For me. Yeah. So so I started working, officially on, okay, now I'm channeling, quote unquote, so that I was, purposefully connecting and making those, connecting into I just like to call it the quantum, getting the information, hearing it, and then, presenting it. I know that when I channel that I can actually just sit here with my eyes open and have a conversation, because I hear the stream of consciousness coming in, but sometimes it's just easier for me to not look and to just connect in. And
it depends, I went through stages where I was channeling open-eyed and I was channeling closed-eyed, and I mean, they both have their value. So
yes.
All right, I'm going to announce who's here in the room, and then we'll do some blessings, and then we'll get going. And Angie, do you have?
Yes.
Go ahead, Angie. Let me do who's in the room first.
Yes.
So far in the room, and we're not talking about the late people, but so far, that's a joke from before we went online. We have myself, we have Angie. We have Wendy, we have Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Donna. Joan, we have Leela. Hi, Leela, guest. We have Radha Singh. Hi, Radha. Susan, and the Mavish. So they're here, and others will pop in. They may or may not get announced. We'll see. Just kidding. All right, Angie, do you have some announcements?
Yes, thank you. We have scheduled the next online class. It is the channeling class. Okay. This class is for people that want to learn channeling or are already channeling and just want to add some additional skills to it. It is Saturday, October 15th, 1:30 to 5:30. Cost is $150. If you're interested in this class or want more information, send an email to classes@hucolo.org. I will get the registration link out. to you. And yeah, looking forward to that. Always learning new things. I am.
Oh, you're
Always.
like Yoda, always learning.
It is. Always learning new things. I am.
Okay.
So
Cool.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Barbara will do a blessing and Susan can do a blessing, and then you want to do a blessing, Angie? I will go to you, Wendy, but you're channeling, so I think we can come to you last. And then we can go right into the channeling. Okay, so let's go in order. Barbara, Susan, Angie, and Wendy. And if there's someone else who wanted to do speak now or forever, hold yourself. Okay. All right, go ahead. Barbara. Are you there? Oh, you're muted if you are talking. Barbara? My dear? Let me see if she's still online. There she is. Let me try to unmute her. Did she step away?
She said,
She said you're blocked. She's blocked.
You're not blocked. I'm asking you to unmute. I'm clicking it.
We are on multiple dimensions at the same time.
Oh no, I clicked ask to unmute.
I laughed about that because the other day we were traveling and my watch was an hour ahead of everybody's. And I'm like, look, my watch is an hour ahead of you. And I go, it's like almost midnight. They're like, no, it's not. It's almost 11. And I was like, no, it's midnight. And I showed them my watch and my phone both at the same time. I was an hour ahead of everybody. So that was weird.
Can you unmute? Can't. Barbara, can you log out and come back in, maybe? And then we'll start and I'll let you back in, but I didn't block you. So, but it doesn't seem to be like when I ask you to unmute, it doesn't, either you don't get the message, but I really didn't. I don't have that kind of control. I don't even have a block key. So yeah, log out and come back. And then, yeah, and we'll come back. So we'll start with Susan and then go to Angie.
all right. Kia zo ki te ai ko sikia ki to ko ye sikia ko welcome all sukotoya ye kia sia ye who sikaya ye sukotoya for this auspicious gathering sukotoya ya ti ai ko hazia ko ye ti ai ho ko to ye ti ai ya sikia yo ya ye te ya kia sikoya ya sukotoya ye kia see I am Frederick, this dear one's red fire dragon. So I am speaking of Wendy. I'm here, dear one, with you and all of you to give you the dragon energies to support this beautiful gathering that you have. We surround you with our love. All your dragon clans. With honor and love.
Thank you. Okay, Angie, and then we'll do Barbara. Maybe Barbara was supposed to be last. Maybe that's it. Okay, Angie, go ahead.
Blessings.
Blessings. Barbara.
Sataheata hohata, kimiata kishia hoko, kipata heata kanokoshi, kihashata kachini, kushona kata hiato konosho, kiahana kia padaki, Ha ha niata kosha. Kiata hata kiata. Namaste.
Beautiful. Okay. Wendy, do you want to do a
Thank
blessing?
you. Yeah. Atawin yira ka shizua reni tunya ahir tu kuhir reni kuchara. Etiknira ni krunya shizua marakai ki turunyo. We are the Syrians. We are here to support and help you. Akahian oro tu rinya ni krunya na we are a collective of many beings, so oftentimes you will hear a variety of sounds. We're here also supporting the Dragonfly Collective, who is ready to come through. We step aside and let them come through now. Blessings. Welcome to all. We are the Dragonflies, the Dragonfly Collective, the Dragonflies, the Dragonflies. We also are associated with the dragons, which is why Frederick came through to give an early announcement and an introduction, sending and lending the energy of the dragons to the dragonflies.
So
we have been, thank you for your welcome. We have been working with this being and several others to make our energy more known, more aware, not just with the dragonflies, but many of your insect beings piggyback. They would be, as you would say, cousins to us energetically. And so we are just wanting to bring this energy, this information forward and begin to share our love and our beauty more intently, more thoughtfully, more intentionally with human beings.
So can we ask a few questions of you?
Yes, of course.
So we see the dragonflies that are on our planet, but are you of that same group or are you a different energy?
We are with the elemental realm on this earth, is the energy that we bring you today.
So you are not actually a dragonfly flying from flower to flower, but you are a dragonfly energy existing.
No, we are collective. We are a collective. It would be all of the dragonflies, although they independently fly individually as each life is created. The mind thought process of Dragonfly Collective is a one universal thought process. You know, your tree collectives will communicate interconnectedly with that one mind.
And what is your role here, primary role, other than your own self-realization? What is your primary role here on the planet?
Our role is to move energy.
Is she frozen?
You can see us zig and you can see us zag, fly up and down. Let me know when you're able to hear her again, please.
We just give it a moment because the connection is a little warbly at the moment. So just give it a moment for it to stabilize.
Yes, I feel the energies. This is Wendy speaking. I feel the energies really strongly in my hands. And so it's probably interference from that.
Yeah. Because normally you don't have any problems with connections on. Okay, it looks stable to me. So let's see. Go ahead. If you can bring them back and we can continue.
Okay. Yes, one moment. Yes, the dragonflies are returned. We were saying that we zig and we zag our energy on this earth. And the reason that we do this is to move the negative energy that is created by the human beings and their thought processes. So what we do is we take the stream of consciousness that is in the air and raise it to a higher frequency. It allows the light workers who are tapping into their light to more easily, readily access this. Also, it helps with those who are unaware. Unaware is the best word for it, to their beingness, to their higher selves, to their soul families, to their galactic families. These beings who are in a shadow, so to say, in the dark a little bit, not really seeing when the light is on and you are able to see. So we do walk through, whether on the reed or on the water, in our early larvae state prior to changing, to help move these energies. It's not a large function, but it is an important one. And we do this in conjunction with many other elementals as we assist Mother Gaia in her work to bring all of humanity, all of the beings into a higher dimension along with her. So we like you to see us on the wing. Imagine all the little lines that you see within our beings connect in with ley lines within the planet. These structures are unique, independent, and interdependent. But they are important. So we just would like you to enjoy our flight. Have a smile on your face when you see us. And know that this small contribution that we are able to make to humanity, it's our honor to do so. I am open for questions.
Thank you. I'm leaning towards asking you to bring Wendy back and have her relog because the internet is very, very jumpy. And we don't want to miss your beautiful message or to take away from the honor of having the ability to be with you. And so it might be better to do that and even restart the computer.
Okay. One moment.
And then we'll pick it up with a question as soon as you're able to come back and get back into channeling mode.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe restart
Right,
the computer. Yeah, okay. So while we wait, now is a good time for everyone to go get some coffee and or yeah, to just because I think it's not fair for the channel to be lost in the garbling of a freezed frame. It's very hard to follow, so it's better maybe she's restarts her computer. So we'll wait. Talk amongst yourselves. Does anyone have a question for me? I'll do a quick psychic reading for the first person to ask a question. Anyone? No questions?
I have a question.
Okay, who's that?
Leela.
Hi, Leela. Okay, what's your question, hon?
How is Ganesha doing?
We were just talking about Ganesha. We were just talking about Ganesha before you came on. 1 second. I will get something and I'll.
All right.
Hold that Ganesha thoughts. So this applies also to Donna, which funnily enough, when I was in Australia and I was in Turkey, there's a beautiful metaphysical shop there in Turkey, and they had these cards that were made by an Australian woman. And they're the Ganesh Oracle cards, and they're so beautifully illustrated.
God, it is. What is her name? Angela
Hartfield. You can now get them in the US, but
Ah,
I didn't buy them when I was in Australia, simply for the fact that I had bought so much other crap that I had not even 1 inch of space. And I said, well, I'll get them later if I still want them. And then I saw them, but so here's the beautiful.
it is.
Yeah, look how beautiful.
It's
So
amazing.
they're gorgeous. So I will, and they're oracle cards. And so I'll
Oracle.
share the imagery with you. So it's just so beautiful.
My
But
God.
there goes my light. Okay, so Ganesh is always doing well. So I don't.
So let's
You want to
shuffle the cards and just.
Well, I'm not going to pull them, but I will pull one. You tell me where.
All right then.
Where?
And then his message for me.
Okay, here we go.
I love Ganesha.
Me too.
I love them all.
Me too.
But let's focus on Ganesha, otherwise Shiva will come through. Okay.
Openness is the card.
That's good.
Yeah.
I am here. That means I'm opening to Hucolo again.
Yes, so perfect. So let's go back and I'll read you the meaning at the end, but let's go back to Wendy and her beautiful, I'll read you the meaning of it at the end. So, okay, Wendy, Dragonfly Chica, unmute yourself, hon.
All right, there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay, good.
Bring the Dragonfly Collective back, please.
So, all right, I'll bring them back, and then I'll tell you. Well, actually, I'll tell you before I bring them back that we were having the interference, and then I got a phone call from my husband, who they're going to come in and interrupt you in a little bit. So disregard the barking and whatever might happen with my dog in the background. I'll try to stay focused. But he said to me, I said, I'm channeling. He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm channeling. And he said, he goes, oh, that reminds me of my favorite song from Catholic grade school. And he says, make me a channel of your peace. He starts singing to me.
Okay, husband. Thank you for the support.
So yeah, so I thought that was funny. So apparently it was supposed to happen. So all right, I'm gonna just come right back into it.
Okay, we'll be back. I remember where we were even in the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are back.
Perfect. Welcome back. Thank you. And thank you for coming back after the disturbance. Our dear friend Susan has a question for you. Go ahead, Susan.
Welcome back, Dragonfly Collective. Thank you for coming today. So just recently, in the past couple of weeks, I saw 2 red dragonflies, which I had never seen a red dragonfly before, and they just kind of sat and hung out with me on 2 different occasions. And I hadn't seen any dragonflies for like the whole month of July, even though there's many in June. I'm just wondering if the different colors of dragonflies represent different things or hold different energies based on the colors of the individual dragonflies, if it represents anything, I guess, or if there is a message that those dragonflies wanted to convey to me by showing up after not seeing them for quite a while.
Yes, they were there purposefully. The reason for these dragonflies to come to your awareness is because you're beginning to connect with and associate with the red fire energy. This fire energy is going to be part of the elemental energy that you're going to be channeling here with the beings that you will be working with within the elemental realm. It is simply a visual reminder for you of this upcoming future connection, which really isn't a future connection, but a current existing one. So
yeah, I was told that it's a new collective coming this month named the Farrak, is what Takur said they are.
yes,
But
it is a visual reminder for you. And of course, their message is always love. Freedom and love. Remember your freedom and be the love that you are. The red color also, as you know, with this stream of consciousness, you associate to your root chakra. And also you may or may not be aware of the colors only being assigned for the clarification and ease of the mind to connect, but truly they are all clear. But the red ray does carry with it a vibrancy, a fire, a passion that is beneficial. So any who want to connect to the red ray may do so. And if it comes in a more fleeting moment of a dragonfly showing up to let your mind wander and float on the wind, then this is preferred.
is there, I know I'm in the Northern Hemisphere and so we are entering into the fall season. Is the reason why the red ones are showing up around the change of season into the fall season and the vibrant colors, the leaves and things like that that are yet to come? Is there any connection there? Because usually earlier in the, like more in June, I'll see like the kind of the grayish blue or the blue color dragonflies around that time, or green sometimes.
Dragonflies do have different life cycles, and the red one's life cycle is later. And you have a close association to the color being red with the fall, because as you know, many insects will camouflage themselves to their environment. The green dragonflies more so in the blue with the water and the plants that they associate with during their life cycle, and the red being a little bit later in the season, being associated with the fall and the changing of the leaves, and much easier ability to camouflage itself for its short life cycle.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you very much for this beautiful information. Much love to you.
Thank you.
Much love to you.
Leela has a question. Go ahead, Leela.
Okay. It is a question regarding history of Gaia in Sumeria. I don't know if you would like to answer this kind of questions. Are you all right?
I don't know if I want to answer it either.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask and you can make the decision.
Yes.
It was in Sumeria, the god Enki was working on the humans, upgrading them DNA-wise. So my question is, did he put his own DNA, his personal, or what? Who gave the DNA to humans? Like, if was a case that he was doing, he would be like the forefather of all humans at this point, in a way.
So your question is an interesting one, but I lead you to the big source, Prime Creator, who creates all energy and all DNA. This is your structure for the physical beings that have become. The nuances of this being created or that being created, or the changing of the DNA for various structures, including the being known as human. They are all interconnected and yet individually different, which can be associated with bloodstream. Certain blood types have a preference for certain blood types. In the event that your being loses its blood and requires replacement within the physical structures of the being that you are. Does it matter is the more important question.
No,
Whether
it doesn't matter to me, but obviously it does matter to majority of humans. That's why we have wars. That's why we have the conflicts, because obviously matters.
The DNA is not the essence of war and conflict. It is the ego of humankind, mankind, womankind. They create their own differences in their mind of how you look different or how your culture is different, and they've lost the essence of the connection that once was when the tribes had come together and worked with the crystal skulls to be able to communicate one to another in their various locations around the globe.
Exactly. I don't have a conflict, but in general, if everybody understood every question on that level, we would have no questions. So
this is the energy that you're trying to work to, beautiful one. Very beautiful insight. Look to your own light, and when you are enhancing your own light, your own clarity, and sharing your own love, others will see, and your light will be as if lighting and leaning over to light the flame of the next individual. So as each of you are sharing your gifts, this is how your energy flows to brighten the world around you. They cannot help but to be emblazoned within their own flame by nearing themselves to yours.
Right. So another historical question. Those questions are rather historical and not really about anything else. Do you know about Poseidon? Do you know about Poseidon and what other names Poseidon have? Who is he actually? Because Poseidon is from the Greek culture. What other name is he known? Poseidon was the god of the ocean.
Water.
Yes. So do you know any other names for him?
His preference is the energy of Poseidon, as it is known and recognized here within this universe. Of course, there are other names similar to you acknowledging and recognizing that you have had many lives and have many names. And this one has had many lives and many names. And that one has had many lives and many names. Which do you want to call him?
In connection to Sumeria or Egyptian gods or Hindu gods, is there any connection to those cultures?
I do not know.
That's a good answer, better than speculating. So that's just really wonderful. So how are you all dragons are doing? You came back to Hucolo. That is a really great time. So how are you all doing? Are you happy with the ascension coming and all the changes?
We are always happy to be of service. It is our honor to be of service, to show the love that we can, to be the collective that we are, to be one.
Do you have any species who you are specifically more emotionally connected than to others?
The dragonflies work primarily with the dragons. Their energy is very similar. But the insect world also, as mentioned before, is like a cousin.
Where are you located in the universe?
Look up.
All over?
Yes, we are in the air. The energy in the air is similar to your thoughts being in the air. And there's reasoning behind you saying, oh, where did that idea come from? I just plucked it out of the air.
In the fifth dimension, what are you eating?
energetically, we are eating the low frequency that surrounds Earth.
Wow.
If you're asking what our food source is, other insects primarily.
So you are major important, because you know, eating the low energy, that is like a vacuum cleaner, a spiritual vacuum cleaner.
Yes. This is why you see us zigging and zagging on the wing.
Mm-hmm. You know, in my dragon form, I am clearing the debris in the universe. Well, I'm also a vacuum cleaner as you are. How do I clean a debris in the universe? How is even that possible for one dragon? Or do I have others?
Oh, there's
Mates.
collectives, many collectives.
So how do we clean the debris from universe?
It's a transmutation of the energies. This one understands it completely as this is what she does for Gaia. And using her dragon energy is a large part of that. Not all of it, but a large part of it. You bring it, actually, the energy into your being when you are breathing, just being alive, just being. And this energetic transformation will be cycled in through your energetic field. And as it's cycled in through your energetic field, it in the physical form of your body is released in the form of urine and feces. The dragon does this similarly, only in a quantum, non-physical manner, in a manner of light, taking it from a low vibration to a higher vibration.
So it is done in the meditation. I don't need to travel all over and clean.
No, you do not need to travel. It is only your intention that is needed. This is the same for anyone. Right. The reason that those who like to travel is for the experience of the traveling. Who do you meet en route? Who do you run into? What conversation are you able to have? How is your current life enlightened? What is the frequency of joy of this doing? There is some to be garnered from it. We are not able to just all sit in one room and say, I'm traveling because I'm looking at photos. We want the physical experience of the traveling.
Here is a very important question for all of light workers. I know.
I'm going to ask you to hold your so we can give other people a chance, and we'll come back to you if that's okay.
It's okay, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
thank you.
Thank you. Mavith has a question. I'm just going to move on only because it's quite a long question that we've had there. Mavith has a question. He says, is Mother Gaia naturally a creator being, and the creator beings are only 1 degree away from God themselves? Is that correct?
Yes, she is a creator being. And we're all 1 degree away from God, aren't we? In the sense of we are all part of the oneness. And we are not even 1 degree away. We are God, as are the creator beings. Are there hierarchies within the realm of different beings, have different assignments? Yes, of course. You are built and created to do the work that you are intended to do. Similarly, the dragonflies are created to do the work that they are intended to do. Some beings come in with more awareness. Others have made the decision, such as yourselves, to lose your information, to garner the experience and remember. To remember, to be once more a member of the one.
Thank you. I was just going to comment about the question about the DNA and about people having the knowledge of the DNA. You know, unfortunately, you can't just tell somebody that they're one and they get it. You know, if that was the case, everyone would understand that there's no differences between us, but it's something that has to awaken within people.
Yes.
Yes. So that brings me to a question from the YouTube chat. Tammy, she says, how would the ascension change the relationship between humans and the animal species in general, or would it?
Some are already starting to understand this connection between their animals and wild ones by connecting into them telepathically. This telepathic connection will be more enhanced. The feeling of the energy exchange that occurs between the animal world and the human world will become more filled with light and more filled with love. The preciousness of these beings will become more protected. But they have also chosen to come in the form that they have come in, with the understanding of what their timeline life will be. Many of you have also had animal forms and various others. It is a choice dependent on your path, your decisions, your contracts.
There's a question from Matt Wally. He says, what is up? What is up with your beautiful colors, dear Dragonfly Collective?
We reflect the light. We want the human awareness to also know that they reflect the light. And if you observe our beautiful colors, you are observing your own beautiful colors.
Okay, Jess has a question, and then I think that's all the questions we have for you. And maybe we'll want to move on unless there's a message.
That is fine. We are already here. We are already hearing that this is probably the last question, and that we will switch out and allow Jesus, Yeshua, to come through.
Yeah, that was my
He
feeling.
has been waiting.
The question is from Jess. She says, how do the water dragons assist the energies in Los Angeles, California? And what messages do they have about protecting one's energy in general as a light worker living there?
If you are working with the water dragon, you are working with the element of water. If you are hearing their call, connect with the water. Be in the water. This may be as simple as taking a shower or being in your own bathtub, but it is preferable if you're able to step into a larger body of water on the earth, like a lake or an ocean. If this is possible, do this when you can. And then simply ask to connect to the water dragon and their energy so that they may share their light with you to recharge you. Their purpose in the water is to bring beings of human and others to drink the water. Because as the water comes into your system, this helps you with your crystalline energy, keeping you at a higher frequency. So the importance of water, even within your own being and structure, the percentage of water that is known within a human body is high. And therefore, when you're connecting with water, you once more are connecting with yourself. And in case you haven't noticed, we have a theme of bringing us to the oneness, bringing us to the oneness. And the purpose for this is because we as the Dragonfly Collective do think of ourselves as one. And we want the humans to also think of themselves as one. So work with the water, with the element of water, sing to the water. And as for protection, simply ask for protection. from the dragons. Call Archangel Michael if this makes you happy, or others, to protect your energy when you're working in the sacred and in with the divine. And this is the end of this transmission for our collective. I will send you with more dragonfly light language. Beyond the wing, my friends. Beyond the wing. Find your freedom. Find your joy. Find your love. Connect with the dragonflies. Connect with your joy. Connect with Prime Creator. Connect. Connect with the One. And we will be there to join you. Our blessings and love to you as we step away.
Much love to you. Definitely drinks the water.
I was feeling it. Come and walk with me, my brothers and sisters of the light. Come and walk with me. Be in your joy. Let us take a walk today, on this day, being in friendship, being in love with life, with one another, with the universe, and all that it has to offer. Come and walk with me along the side of a mountain, along the side of your friend, of your lover, of your child, of your mother. Come and walk with me.
Welcome. Do we call you Jesus
Thank you.
or Yeshua, or how do we call you? In what form?
Whatever is in your heart, I will respond.
Thank you. The internet is a little bit stuck again, so we may need to wait a moment for the energy to stabilize again. Because it's a little bit, let's see. It's showing red. I don't know if that's good. Now it's yellow. It looks more stable now. Okay, we'll start. Do you have an opening message for us, or would you like to go straight to questions?
Yes, my opening message was to come and walk with me. That was my message. And so I reiterate
Beautiful.
that when you walk with me, you are walking with my energy of me, not necessarily my being, although many do still appreciate my presence as the being they know me as from my time on the planet. I am, of course, much more than that, as are all of you, but having lived the 3D life and knowing what it means to walk on this earth, this is something that your ears need to hear, that your hearts need to be open to. The realization that my energy is among and within you. Whether you call it or not, it is there. It is there in the baby's eyes as you goo in its face. It is there in the tenderness of a prepared meal. It is there in the assistance of the pat on the back or the shared sorrow and empathy. As you walk with me, you walk with your brother, your sister. So come and walk with me.
Thank you. Susan will start with the first question. Go ahead, Susan.
Hello, Yeshua. I am wondering if you could speak a little bit about your travels as a young man to the East, to Ethiopia, India, and Tibet. And I know that during that time you were observing humanity, if you will, and observing human behavior and learning to discipline your egoic thought processes, or through meditation, through going within, and you were learning from different like yogic masters, for example, like in India and Tibet, which you then brought back that, I guess, that those experiences, that knowledge, which helped with your own enlightenment in your lifetime. Yeah, if you would like to share any information about that time period, and I know, and being separated from your dear Mary during that time as well.
Yes, this was a much needed time of education and growth, of mind expansion for the body. The mind was already connected with the heart of God. The knowing was already in place since a child. The expansion of self, although touted as my personal expansion, which to some extent it was, it truly was more an expansion for those that I would come in contact with on my walks. These journeys of shared expressions, of shared cultures, of walking in another's shoes, so to say, was much needed, as the energy and the frequency of the planet at that time truly needed to be in. And so the journey of what I learned wasn't really my journey, but the journey to open the hearts of others. And in my willingness to understanding of their cultures, this then allowed them to be open to the understanding of other cultures. This shared willingness of friendship is where the expansion in love really began. Is this enough information for you?
Yes, that's beautiful.
I could certainly tell you of sitting on the mat in someone's home and sharing a meal and playing with their children and their pets. But you already know this is the human experience.
Yes, and I've heard that I am part of your soul family, and that I have an aspect of Mary Magdalene, and that she would perhaps like me to channel her in the future to work with women for like balancing the divine feminine, divine masculine. Is there any message that you have from her for me?
You can do this now, dear one. You often do and do not recognize your own energy. Did you not feel it come through when you sang on your drum
Yes, I feel strongly. Yeah, I suppose that ancestor energy. Yeah, I'm learning Native American drumming and for our trip to Mount Shasta coming up, and to share some songs for women and men, and other songs. And yeah, I'm connecting more into, that divine feminine energy, especially. I've been feeling that strongly lately. So
Yes, she has been already supporting you in this life. Your divine feminine, whenever it comes through, she is there. Her energy is subtle because she is you and you are her, and this is a fine line to discern.
yes,
So when you channel, just put your intent to channel Mary, and her message will come through clearly.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. I'll definitely look to connect with her more in the future. So much love to Yeshua.
So much love to you, my beautiful partner.
Thank you so much. Okay, Leela, she has a question, and then we'll go to Radha. Go ahead. Leela.
Blessing, I love the name Sananda for you.
Blessings.
What is the meaning of your name,
Thank
Sananda?
you.
What's the meaning?
The meaning of my name is always, I am the light.
So Sananda means light in light language?
In any form,
In
my
any
name,
form.
no matter how you refer to it, translates energetically to I am the light.
Because everything is energy, right?
Beautiful, yes.
My dear, what is our connection? I know that I am you and you are me and we are all one. What is our personal connection?
We have had many lives together, you and I,
As brothers?
and sisters, and mothers, and fathers, many lives.
What did we do?
For you, you lived. I'm being facetious. The life lived and the lessons learned are always interchangeable. And so, as an old soul, you will come again and again and again in different holographic fields to experience different aspects of who it is to be a human, as a woman, as a man, as a child, as an adult, living a short life, living an extended life. It's the various experience that will come up along the way that the soul enjoys in its broadening, its expansiveness, its learning.
I have a very important question for all light workers. It was a message from Ashta Sharon from your ship. He was talking about the first wave of light workers who will be going to your ship, and they will be asked question what they wanted to do. There will be first light workers wave to go into higher dimension, and they will be asked question, do they want to go back home or do they want to go back to Gaia? So here is my question: when the light worker make the decision to go back to Gaia, are they going to the third dimension Gaia to serve humans, or they are going from the ship directly to the fifth dimension, new Gaia?
So there's a slight variation of the understanding of third to fifth dimension. It's all still within the same plane. So the earth is still the earth. Your being is still your being in the avatar that you are. Many have already gone on ship. This is not something new. They've gone and they've come back. So if some have decided to stay on ship, so to speak, they may have exited this life Are you aware of any recent light workers who have stepped out of their bodies and left this plane? They may be residing once more on ship.
Right,
And
but
there are other energetic
wave means for
bodies.
me many light workers moving up, because wave is for me a big wave, a lot of people moving. It's not a one person, otherwise it would not call wave.
That happened back in 2012.
All right.
Which is when this one's awakening occurred. And what is the awakening? What is your experience to the awakening?
Oh, I have awakening from child all my life. I awake to something else all the time. I don't have a limit in awakening. There are no limits in my reality. I always awake to something else. Even to your name. I didn't know that you have a Sananda
yes, this one
name.
has had.
I love you. The name Sananda is so
Yes,
beautiful.
this one has had. Thank you. Yes, this one has had many experiences like this as well from childhood. Many of you have. And the reason for this is that all beings have this ability. All. It's their willingness to trust it, to tap into it, to understand it, appreciate it, to use it in kindness, in love, to be enlightened, to share this gift with others.
So
not all want to have this experience of the knowing of the more, the connecting with the galactic ships. They have been programmed with fear in many movies of alien beings coming and taking over the world. Even many have energetic fear of the Greys. Who are the Greys? The Greys are another dimensional timeline of the human beings where they have practically destroyed themselves. It's all to be an experience. It's all to be part of the oneness of the light. To see the duality of the dark and the light. And then to reunite them into the boldness of the light. As to the wave that's coming, this is already in the divine plan. You'll know when it comes. It would be the second wave. The first wave has, of course, already occurred.
So we are waiting for the second. Okay, thank you. I don't want to take too much time. Otherwise,
I think it's an interesting concept because it's a beautiful idea that some people came in awake already having made the choice to deal with shepherding people in. Other people wake up at different times in order to take on these roles. And at any time you can maybe choose to go back and forth. That's the timeline shifting. So it's a really beautiful question, Leela. We just have to go on to someone else.
Thank you.
I think it's a question to explore further, I think. Radha has a question. Go ahead, Radha. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for coming in today.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming for the co-creation of my coming in today.
Could you tell me what is the nature of my connection with Wendy and how we may be working together in the future?
It is up to you to create this working together in the future. And of course, you are always working together in the etheric realms, as you would say, as you have many other multiple lives, duplicity occurring at the same time. So many of you who have made these connections, even within Hucolo, are, as you would say, soul family. And the timing of your meeting is at the right time, and the timing of your connection is at the right time. And so that you are asking this question now says to us and to you, it is the right time. Wendy's thinking through this information on her ego as we are sharing this news with you, with both of you at this moment. You have work to do, and it will begin to unfold itself as you explore and have conversation about this upcoming work.
What can I do to better prepare energetically for our trip to Mount Shasta?
Find your greatest joy and be it. If your greatest joy is to step outside and breathe the fresh air, do that. If your greatest joy is to taste the deliciousness of the food in front of you, do that. Be in thankfulness and peacefulness with all your decisions. We know this is easier said than done. And Wendy struggles with this as well on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment, energetic cleansing and clearing of her own soul as she also works to increase her frequency.
Okay, I will do that. So in a recent dream, did I experience the 5D energies of bliss?
Of course. And did you also experience some of your Kundalini awakening? The vibrations within your body?
That I did not recognize. Could you tell me what % of my Kundalini is awake?
I see you at the beginnings as you were in your bliss of 5%. There is work to be done, but it is your enlightenment to the knowledge of it.
Thank you very much. Blessings.
Blessings to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, there's a question from Ananias, I guess how you say. And Matt Wally has a question here, but it doesn't make sense. So please retype your question.
And we do want you to be aware that, as mentioned earlier, that there will be background noise as the family comes back into it. So
no problem.
No worries about it.
Okay.
Just be aware.
Ananias's question is, Yeshua, did you visit Iran and Armenia when you were on Earth? And how was it back then?
Yes, this was much of my stomping grounds, and it was chaotic, probably more chaotic than it is here known today. There were many humans trying to take control of the different countries, countrysides, and the peoples. This climb for power is where much of the warring began. This is where my light needed to be brought into the earth. At that time, there was, as you would say, a wave of light in that period, simply by my being. The words and the shared travel was only a means to the experience.
Thank you. There's a question from Matt Wally, and he was saying, and it's a good question. He says, your expansion, how would you describe the expansion? I'm paraphrasing this question. How would you describe the expansion of the one called Judas in reflection of your life?
He was my most beloved friend. He knew the choice that he had to make and stepped up to play that very difficult, challenging role. But he did it beautifully, in divine timing, in every essence as it was intended to be, following out with our original plan. Without having the experience of Judas, what would the experience of Jesus be? A man walking on earth, smelling the flowers, speaking of love, and a few healings here and there. This is not much different than what many of you are doing today, this one included.
His question is was it a
What
soul
is the
expansion also for Judas?
Say this again?
sorry, was it a soul expansion also for Judas?
Of course. You have come to be the good and the bad and the ugly, so to say, using a song. Soul expansion that each soul experience the growth. Many have made the decision to come to be the opposite or the antagonizer for that growth. We understand that it is hard for the concept of good and evil, and what is thought of as evil is only an experience and not evil at all. And this is wherein the concept is a difficult one to understand, to think on or ponder. That all is okay. And even in the healing work that is done, letting those who, if you think back to my travels where I was accused of having sinners and tax collectors, the nefarious tax collectors and murderers in my presence, and this made me a not so great person to be around, creating the religion of the time with the Pharisees and the Sadducees wanting to remove me from this earth. There was a reason for all of it, and each had its role to play. Those who quote unquote took my life, but did they? Yet here I am still today, speaking with you.
Understood.
So yes, each role has its purpose.
Perfect. Okay, and then there's another question. How do you know, but what is a light worker, and how do you know that you're a light worker?
You all come in with the light. You all have the ability to be a light worker. A light worker, in the sense of a light worker, is one who is emblazoning their light. They're adding food to the fodder. The fire becomes brighter and brighter because of their choices, because of their intentional desire to be that structure, that pillar of light, holding up Gaia, holding up support for this world to continue on, for connections to be made to the elemental realm, to the galactic realm, to the stars, to the universe, to yourself within other dimensions and other planes.
Thank you. Thank you. Is the channel fatigued? Is she okay?
She's okay. She moves energy when she channels, and this is often the yawning of holding our energy. It is a strong one to bear in. And she's feeling a little bit of heart expansion doing this channeling. There was a little bit of release, that sadness that she began to channel me earlier before we had the connect and disconnect come through, so that I could give her a message from her husband, which isn't that like my playful self? What is a channel?
Yes. Okay. Joan has a question. I'm going to read it for her. She says, can you explain why Jesus needed to die on the cross? What was the purpose of that?
To have the following. As said before, it was like he was a rock star, and those were swarming to him to have their own light enlightened. Those that were in power didn't want him to be in power. because it took away from people contributing to the church, because now they were all together in this community sharing as a commune. And as they shared with each other, with the religious powers at the time. Does this make sense? As to why to be eliminated?
Yes, it makes sense that.
Again, in this plan,
Oh, you're cutting out really
in
bad.
this plan with elimination, with a large following. Can you hear
Yes, just give
my
it a moment.
words?
Yeah, the last thing you said was cut out. You said it, just if you can repeat that last bit.
This,
After you said, does this make sense?
yes. This death needed to occur in this manner, with so many loving him and following him and his teachings, and Mary's teachings along with him, and the disciples, the closest of friends. These journeys of expansion to share this emboldened light, these teachings of the light workers of that time, needed to occur so that the message would be spread. And just think of the light languages that were spoken amongst each other at that time. And now many are experiencing the gift of light language, understanding that it is energy being translated into sound, light into sound, and sound into light. Anyoro tuhuni kana apahuno apaho.
Thank you. I have a question for you.
Yes,
When they talk about Jesus coming back again, is Jesus coming back in physical form or energetically?
both. But the physical form is not the manner that you are thinking.
So that's my question. Is he coming back as a human walking around on the planet, or is he coming back in some other way? And if so, how?
Both. Still both.
Okay.
There is a human that carries my energy currently to its fullest extent. But this is a young child, so it is too early to have this discussion, honestly. But energetically, as you are feeling and experiencing the energy that I'm sharing, as this being is channeling, as others channel me as well, these teachings and these energies are intended to raise frequency still, so that you can connect in with your light, the golden Christed energy, which isn't necessarily me, only me, myself, my energy, but the Christed energy of God, this golden energy.
How many times have you manifested since the time of your actual incarnation as Jesus on the planet?
You are breaking up. Repeat.
Well, my question was because I have to say that there's been many times over the course of my lifetime where I've heard the child known as Jesus is already on the planet, and I'm coming up on half a century old, or I am half a century old, which is not that old, but older. And at some point, this child would have grown up. So my question is it always that is this, you know?
Child is where the best energy resides.
So my question is,
yes.
is this an actual child, or is there many incarnations of your energy? Just like there's many different people who have aspects of you. Is there one specific yes. Jesus? So are we to assume that the second coming of Jesus is now on the planet, or has there been many sort of second comings and just unmanifest and unknown, as far as humans knowing that child was here?
Currently 585.
Children?
That's
At this time, there's 585 Jesuses on the planet.
585 children who carry the strong energy of Jesus. Will they all grow up to continue to emanate that energy? Maybe. One.
And since you walked the planet, how many have there been?
Oh, too many.
Okay. So basically, we can assume that at any given time, there is a sort of Jesus energy on the planet incarnated?
Yes. And even this one holds my energy, which is why it's easier for her to channel me, and did as a child. She understood what she was doing as an adult, but it surely took her many years to come to its full understanding.
Okay.
And to continue to work with this energy is working with the light, not necessarily working with me as the energy of Jesus or Yeshua or Sananda. But she does work with the ascended masters in her travels at night. So we are always doing something.
Understood. Understood. Thank you. I'm just looking to see if anyone else has a question for you. I don't see any at the moment. Does anyone
This
else?
is fine. This is fine to sit in the energy. If I may ask everyone to quiet their mind. And if I may ask you to allow in your golden light into your crown and your heart chakras. And if I may ask you to send that to guide. And if you will do me the honor of connecting your pillar of light in with mine, as we send this beautiful light into the galaxy, into the universe, for where it is needed on this planet. She trips over the energetic translation of the words. Feel this beautiful light coming out of the fingertips of your being, your thumbs, your first fingers, your middle fingers, your ring fingers, your pinky fingers. Feel this energy coming out of the palm of your hands, this light beaming as lasers from you. Feel the golden aura that surrounds your body broaden and expand as you beam out this light, moving further and further away from your body. That your effect on the world may be felt in divine love. That as you are called to be the light workers, leading the way, cutting down the path so that others may follow easily behind you. Beaming this light onto the path, expanding it. And now breathe this golden light into every cell within your body. Take a deep breath now. Hold it. And release. Let's do this 2 more times for beautiful Trinity. Breathe in this golden light into all of your cellular structures. Hold it. Expand. Breathe out. And a 3rd time, however, we ask you to also add the ruby ray of love into this golden light, into your hearts. Breathe this in now, expanding it into your cellular structures. Hold it. And release when you are ready. Celebrate your lives, celebrate your cycles, celebrate your expansive self, because you are now at the end of this transmission no longer who you were at the beginning. We thank you for your co-creation. We thank you for your love. We thank you for being the light of the world along with me and my light and those others who have gone the journey before you and continue to come again and again and again. Welcome to the expansiveness of who you are. I send you my love. I send you my light. Be who you are in your highest joy. Blessings to you. And now I go.
Blessings. You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm good. Take me a minute. I'm still kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the beautiful channeling.
Thank you. I'm sweating. Like my elbows and my back, I've got sweat from the energy.
That's just
It's always a beautiful experience. Sometimes when I'm channeling a large energy, like when Jesus comes through, or Gaia, Mother Sophia, sometimes when I start to channel, I start to cry. So I get very emotional, and I'm sure that there's, some physical body emotion that this actual being notices or recognizes, and it just gives me that energy. And so it starts out as I start to like cry, and then it goes away, and I'm like, I'm fine, but it's the experience of what it is.
I think whenever we're in that state of pure bliss and love, tears just flow, automatically. I don't think it's anything that I don't think you can help it. It's just because of just the majesty and beauty of it. That's just what happens. You don't even realize you're crying, and you're crying.
Right, exactly. So it's
beautiful.
A physical experience to the energetic, energy around us, when it's streaming through us at that time. So in my hands, it's always interesting. This doesn't happen all the time when I'm channeling, but certain times I get like this, like it's almost like a beam of light in my palms, and so I'm holding them up because it's almost like I can't, and sometimes I'll channel, my hands are together like this, but then there's other times where they're up, and then it's almost like a, I don't want to say a puppet on a string, but those energies are so large that it's like I have to
you have to expand
it. Like I have to expand my body to hold the energy, something like that. Yeah.
I remember the first time I channeled Theos, I was like, it's too heavy.
Too heavy.
I was like, it's crushing me. I was like, call me on the phone. It was too much.
Call me on the phone. That's funny.
That's what I said. I swear. I was like, call me on the phone. It was too much. I feel like I was being, because we're just a pinpoint. I mean, I love the analogy of, like in Men in Black, where they show that marble, and in the marble is that whole world.
Yes.
I mean, relative to everything, we're just, even though we're multiple cells, we can be as big or small as a tiny dot in comparison to the entire universe. Yeah. And here we're trying to take in this universal energy. Donna's got some face situation going on there. And, and it's just enormous, the amount of energy that we're trying to filter through this. I still think I think probably in reality, we're like this big compared, and compared to the whole universe, we may not even register. You might need a microscope to see us, really, even though for us, we have, relative distance. And I just think to try to filter through all of that energy, it can be a lot, that's why we go in through our head now. We might explode if we try to hold the energy. There's no way we could. We can only,
there's no way physically that we could be able to.
You're channeling through. It has to go somewhere because we can never in our physical bodies hold that
Maintain
amount.
it. Right. And you know, it's interesting because, you know, as an energy worker, when because a lot of times I'm pulling this energy into my body, sometimes I forget to release it. And so that'll show up in the form of backaches, neck aches, headaches, you know, pain and pressure in your third eye. And it's like, how do I get rid of that pain? And so
you have to let it flow through you even when
you
you're
have to
using
let it
it.
flow. And so trying to like find some, like go do something. So for me, what my experience has been is to like go try to find an activity. So sometimes I'll just like turn the music on and be like, okay, now I'm going to dance, and you know, I'm just going to shake my body. And so it really is like there's some physical aspect of moving that energy where you just get out of your head and you're not like, okay, move energy, move energy, move energy, you know, kind of that repetitive, you know, ego trying to say, you know, I got to get this energy out of my head. It's stuck, you know, so getting into doing something fun where you just stop thinking about it.
I would even say because the energy is so large, we're only able to absorb so much of it, and so much the rest will really be kind of falling on the floor. And if we're allowing ourselves to just be a pure channel, a lot more can move through than when we try to hold energy. You know, I mean, it's like this cup can only hold so much water, but if there was a hole there, then it could just, all the water
It
could
could
flow
just keep
through.
going, right? Like a sieve.
Yeah.
So
Speaking
learn
of that.
to be a sieve. That's my goal in life, to learn to be a sieve.
Open on both end vessel.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, you know, if you want to get really technical, you know, as above, so below, we have a mouth and we have a exit area for which
It comes in, goes out.
you know, it goes in and comes out. It's true, you know, and that's true across creation. There is all in, you know, in release. We're
Giving
not meant
and
to hold
receiving.
it.
Yeah.
We're not meant to hold it. We're meant to allow it to flow, even if it takes a little while, you know.
Right. And I just was hearing, that's the case with abundance as well. When you give, you receive. When you give, you receive. There's this give and take that happens with this. And oftentimes we'll talk about it as energetic exchange, you know? So what's our energy exchange? What are we co-creating when we're working with someone? So, so that is, that's always fun to experience and to see it when you actually go, oh, I just witnessed that. You know, the light bulb goes on.
That's good. There was a question in the YouTube chat that I'm sure you can answer, non-channeling state. I'm sure you could have anyway, but any of these questions, but I just want to give it to you. This was a nice question, and let me get back there. Hold on 1 second. There we are. Okay.
You actually go.
There's our thumbnail. All right. Okay. 2 questions. Okay, well, 3 questions. There's some good questions here. Okay, Cami asks, she says, our world seems to live through a time of a mountain of troubles. Is this mountain just an accidental occurrence or deliberately created?
The mountain of troubles comes from, this is my own higher self speaking. So this is Archangel Raziel, who I connect in with. The mountain of troubles comes from man. It's still, just as it was so many centuries ago, man seeking power. And as man seeks power to control, this is where the mountain of troubles comes from. They are not as large as they once were, truly. As you notice with this most recent outcry between Russia and Ukraine, where the world looked and said, no, this is not acceptable. It is not acceptable anymore. And so as the hearts and minds of man are changing, this will no longer be acceptable to war with one another. And the finances that are abundant on this planet will soon begin to be shared one with another as you start to see these communities grow. I think this was, you know, people are starting to get together and, you know, they want to build like their communities and they want to have their houses in the same area. And
And
you
I
know,
think COVID
but
also awakened that for a lot of people. Just this
yeah,
like, yeah, reconnection to where you are, not having to go very
you know,
far.
a
support
lot like
community.
how the Native Americans used to do it, you know, treating things sacredly and having respect for the family unit, and, you know, being there to celebrate the life and to celebrate the death of, you know, I mean, we do that in some faction, but not necessarily maybe to the level that we could. So
I
yeah,
think it's being, you know, we had to stop consuming so much. We were on such a trajectory since really the 1980s of just eat a lot, supersize everything, buy, have, brand this. And it just feels like when the pandemic came, I mean, who wore anything other than sweats? Nobody,
right.
you know? Nobody. And then then you are at home, you're working from home, you're more invested, you reconnect to your neighborhood, to your family. I mean, that's the best case scenario, but you also realize like, hey, I can grow my own food, or I can't grow my own food. That's a problem. And you became more aware, and life slowed down and got more simple by force, you know, and by necessity. But there was a lot of value in re-experiencing those things. And that was the whole thing of like, let's do it, let's build back better. I know that can be a triggering phrase for people, but this idea, how do we do it
with this mountain? Yeah. I mean, even Jesus said, when you say to this mountain, move, it will move. Right. So we are the change, right? We are the change. It's not us going in there with a shovel and picking up the mountain.
It's not only a problem, but we are also the solution, right? So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Much hope.
What was that other question?
Well, there's two more. One is from our friend Metwali. He says, how is Yeshua connected to trees?
To trees?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I would think of the nature. He commands nature. He's part of nature. We're all part of nature, but
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the next thing I'm going to go to, and hopefully I'm still connected. I know I had some connection issues earlier.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, I mean, we're all connected to trees. We're, you know, this is how we get our food, and this is you know, there's the tree of life. And so I think that question has more energetic tie to the tree of life than versus the trees is my ego originally brought in. And this tree of life is really moving energy through the chakras. And I know that there's you know, some teachings that go into you know, moving the energy from the different, you know, how they're tied in through the different energetic locations within the tree of life. And this isn't really much different than your own field and your own discovery. Do we want the tree of life to be limiting to, you know, to whoever's working with the tree of life? No, it's meant to be a learning tool. It's meant to be a way to have your expansion and, you know, to come to your own understanding of this movement of energy and how it's interconnected to the whole of who you are.
Yeah, what's a graphic representation of how energy is manifest from thoughtless form to form, from the non-form through the beginning of thought and all of its degrees.
Right, and that the stream of flow it's interconnected. If you can imagine, you know, I'm placing circles, and from each of these circles they tie in line and crisscross to each other, you know, that they're each, you know, connecting. This connects with this, and this connects all the way down here, and it, you know, kind of like you know, like the Metatron's cube, you know, when you see all the different angles and everything's interconnected, right? So
okay, perfect. So a nice asked the question, says, can I ask something from Wendy? What does it mean to awaken energy within?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Awakening the energy within. that is the awareness of your own power. Awakening the energy within is your recognition of your solar plexus energy and who you are as a being and what your capability is as a being. Awakening the energy within is understanding that when you're streaming light, you're streaming light. Awakening the energy within is coming to the realization that you have the power to control what happens and occurs around you. These are all different methodologies and thought processes for you to digest. And we use this pun as it ties into the stomach and where your solar plexus is in the middle of your body. So connect in with this energy and digest this information.
Right. Okay, perfect. Medwali was clarifying this question. He says he meant, why did he die on the cross because trees are made of wood. He was nailed to wood. You know, he carried a staff. He even looks like a tree hanging on the cross. I mean,
Yes, yes.
I would say
There's a lot of
all of that symbology is relevant, and it's kind of the thing of he lived it and he died by it, basically. But you know, it's probably much deeper than just that simple answer I gave. But I think all the symbology that you could connect to wood and to trees and to
exactly
the tree of life and life-giving knowledge of trees and Buddha being enlightened under a tree, and also too the cross was a very common way people were killed in that time.
right, and the tree being,
But it's
tree
also the most
being is
humiliating, punishing way to die. And I think that goes back to what Wendy was saying about how he had to die in a significant sort of very big way. It had to be a big thing for people to notice. Like if he had just gone and died, you know, somewhere off got hit by not a car, but a guy
by a camel.
guy on a camel, it wouldn't have been as spectacular as if you were tortured and meant to drag across through the streets and hammered and humiliated in a crown of thorns and
being beat and whipped and kicked and spit on. Yeah, I mean, it was a big dramatic thing. It was, you know, it's horrific to think about, you know, one person being tortured like that, but that was the way of it. And that they wanted to make it
the fact that they knew that he was divine, and this is how they chose to treat him.
Yeah. So and then here's another thing for the tree of life, for that the thought of the tree, and it's connected to us. How do you die to your own self to be on the cross, so to say? How are you connecting in with the trees, and how are you connecting in with, you know, with your divineness? And are you hammering your own self? Are you putting your own nails in your own hands up on the cross and through your feet, preventing yourself from being able to go forward? So you need to, you know, I mean, all this is allegorically. You step off the cross yourself, you know, just like they were saying, save yourself, Jesus, save yourself. You know, you're so divine and you're a God, so save yourself. Well, he did, but you know, not in the way that they expected. And of course, if it wasn't in the manner that he did die, I don't know that it would be as dramatic as it is today, that everybody would still be talking about it in the story of Jesus and his, you know, and his crucifixion.
Yeah.
But
the camel did run it over Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think it's, you know, it's us having to realize that, you know, we're not also held back, that we have this, you know, this power to self, to be able to do and be and experience the things that we want to do and be and experience. So you make the decision, and so do it.
All martyrs die in a very, you know, spectacular way. I mean, they're shot or stabbed or something by someone who is so
like President Lincoln for his thought processes. You know,
or Gandhi or Luther King or Bobby Kennedy or any of these people. And then
exactly,
I'm listing Americans and one Indian, but you know, any of the people that were destroyed for simply being beacons of light.
Right.
That the only way that the person who killed them could conceive of dealing with them is to destroy them. They were that threatening. And
Right.
that just says, but yeah, that means that as much as people knew that he was God, they also did not see him as God.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I experience that even within my own, healing work that I do, where I will offer my healing services to people, but then they're like, oh, but I just know you as Wendy. So it's easier to almost not know me to say, oh, I want to work with you because I feel your energy, versus, oh, well, that's just Wendy. We see her at the family parties all the time, and, we work with her, or, that kind of thing. So versus seeing, the gifts that I have, the abilities that I've been given to be able to share and, and co-create with someone who is ready to take that step. It's very interesting. But then I'm also always surprised when somebody will say, hey, I want to work with you, that it would be unexpected. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I was just, just having random conversation, and then it, blossoms into something more. So yeah, so those are always fun.
You're a star in your own hometown, you just always, people don't appreciate you unless you're some kind of far off, distant person.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like channeled messages. I mean, so much of the channeled messages that are given, we can get without going into trance and channeling. We are just able to bring it through, but someone wants the theater of a theos,
Yes,
or Jesus saying it to them, because then it has more value. And I really struggled with that in the very beginning of like, why can't I just say it and have it have value? I mean, I would have people say to me, yeah, but what does
right.
Theos say? It's like, well, Theos is talking right now, and it's just this idea that it's actually the manifest acknowledgement that people do not understand, that we are one with divine creation, and we are that. That's the whole thing of I am that I am. I am that.
Right.
I am, you are, we are
Exactly.
that. We are that divine. And so people need to be starstruck, I guess, to be able to take in the information. Anyway.
I mean, even like you said, people want to talk to Theos, and this, and I have the same experience, that they want to hear who's being channeled and what messages are getting brought, because it is an aspect to the higher consciousness. But even when I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, what does Theo say? Messages too, because
because the criticisms that I've got is, well, why can't you just bring in the information yourself? And it's like, I absolutely can, but people don't want to hear it from me as much,
Yeah.
And it's like, or people go, you're not channeling, you're just, and it's like, yeah, I am. It's like, you just can't please everybody. They want to
right.
They'd be much happier if I jumped around and made a funny voice and did little dances. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Daniel Scranton channel.
I have.
But he does a whole thing. And I mean, I don't know. That's just not, Theos doesn't come out like that,
Right.
There's nothing I can do about that. For me, if I did that, that would be fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to do.
You have to channel the way that it's coming in. So yeah.
But that's why there's a million channelers, and there's a million different
ways that the information comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful experience. So I'm happy. I'm excited to do the work, and even if I'm just channeling for a small group of friends, or whether I'm doing an event like this, and if people want to reach out to me and and work with me, I'm happy to do that. I've done that with with a few people already.
So how do people reach out to you if they want to?
They can reach me through Facebook Messenger. I have Channeled Illuminations is my Facebook page, and then also Wendy J. Napolitano. They can connect with me there, and so that's actually my Facebook page. And then also if they want to get or watch any of my work that I've done, my spiritual healing work, then that's at Archangel Raziel Quantum Healer, and they can find that YouTube channel. And then there's also the YouTube channel that is channeled illuminations. So we've got our different, our different channelings when we're practicing page, and then that are posted there. And then also on my website, which is, wendynapolitano.com, and they can, reach out to me that way. It seems like it's always under construction and I never have the time or I don't make the time. Let me be clear. I don't make the time to work with the developer to update it and get the information I need to. So it's always a work in progress. So I think it's just like, connect with me now. And it's just a blurb about who I am, but nonetheless,
Okay, perfect.
that's my work to be done.
You and Susan have an event coming up in Mount Shasta.
In Mount Shasta, yeah.
For other people, or is that already?
So another Facebook group that I have is called Lemurian Call to Action, and we are doing. Last year we went there for that exact event, Lemurian Call to Action, and then this year we're going for Hearts in Action. And so last year it was a conference. This year it's not a conference, but it's a group of people who are coming together who are like-minded in their hearts. And we're going to do some land healing, clearing, connecting in with one another. We're going to do some channeling and, meditation. We're talking about even going out on possibly a horseback trip. So we're gonna go work with the water and then to have fun. We're gonna just have some 5, 6, and 70 experiences, and just connect in with our hearts, and that's the goal. We'll be there from the 21st of September through the 26th.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, whoever wants to come out to the area and join us, feel free. I'm gonna be.
How do they reach you for that if they're interested in that?
They can on the page Lemurian Call to Action. There's an event, so they can sign up to the event and add themselves to the discussion there within that event page. And then if somebody reaches out to me and messengers me, then I can add them. I've got a chat group that is specific to the people who are traveling out there. So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And we've got about 12 of us who are going right now. And I've heard that there may be a few others that are local that might like drop in. But yeah, the experience will be what it will be. I think we're going to be open. We've got a few ideas of what locations will be on certain days.
Right.
And then we'll just get that guidance while we're there to, we should go over here and do this or do that. So yeah, but we're going to be, doing offerings to the land of crystal and tobacco and, music, sound music and singing and, just going and playing with the fairies.
Cool. Nice. Very good. All right. Perfect. So thank you so much. Why don't you end us with a blessing and we will get out of here.
Oh, yes, I would be happy to.
You can do her announcement after the blessing.
Sounds good.
Okay.
The Arcturians come through. We love you, we love you, we love you. Be in your highest joy, your greatest joy, your greatest joy. We love you. It is the time for you to step into your hearts. We work with this being and her team as they broaden and expand this joy. Watch the journey. Live your lives. Be who you are. You are us. We are you. This DNA travels through and through.
Yeah.
Blessings. Oh God, they got me laughing. Blessings.
Very sesame.
I was like, they are rhyming. What is that?
Barney thing. That was beautiful. Okay, perfect. Angie, dear one.
Thank you. We have our next class scheduled, channeling classes for anyone that wants to learn channeling or enhance their channeling, it is Saturday, October 15th, 1:30 to 5:30. Price is $150. Excuse me. And it is classes at hucolo.org. I will get all the information out and the link to register. It is not on the website, so if you are interested, classes at hucolo.org.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you. Jim will be back next week if all goes according to plan. And
And the plan is according.
Yeah. Well, thank you
you so
guys.
much.
I appreciate everybody who was here today, and I send you my love and my lights. It's truly an honor and a blessing to work with each of you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone in YouTube chat and whomever is calling me right now. So I